Hi, Billy Mays here with Mighty Putty, here to tell you that I am not actually Billy Mays, I am Bailey, but you can call me the YuGiOh Scrub. Fun anecdote of the day: when I was younger, a long time ago, and I actually had a Twitter account that I used somewhat actively, and it was still Twitter at the time, I tweeted my favorite tweet of all time. I was missing Billy Mays in his commercials, and I tweeted, "I miss Billy Mays." Two people liked it. One was a random person from high school, the other was Billy Mays Jr. And in that moment, it made me happy to think that he saw that tweet and thought, someone misses my dad as much as me. I like to think that I missed his dad more in that moment. But you don't want to hear about my Billy Mays story. You want to see my terrible, absolutely degenerate deck that we're going to be playing today. I needed something simple to play, something that really is brain dead. And we are playing with a deck that is designed to deck your opponent out by using what I call Claps Turbo, ground claps and spatial claps. The idea is put Ojama Trio tokens on the field, use ground claps, and then spatial claps. If they set to back row, you Zing Zang Hu it, and now your opponent is unable to put cards on the board or do anything. And then you have a skill drain, Big Shield Garna. That way they can't run their tokens into the Big Shield Garna. And you just make it so they're literally unable to do anything. You protect everything with Magic Jammer, Solemn Judgment, Jar of Greeds, fake traps, just good stuff. But let's go ahead and it is the default, make sure of that, and go join the GOAT format ladder. I apologize for anyone who runs into me. I hope it's not a fan. And if you become a fan, was this Joel Anthony? Well, good luck. Alright, he is pretty high rated. So I think we're going to get absolutely demolished right now. Oh, goodness. He hit me with the buddy. Good luck, have fun, buddy. Yeah, I'm going to get smacked. Alright, we got opening hand. Area B, Pot of Greed, Faith, Big Shield Gardna, Jar of Greed, Ojama Trio. We'll start with Pot of Greed, drawing Graceful and Upstart. We'll activate Upstart, getting Zing Zang Hu, activate Graceful, drawing, let's see, Ojama Trio, Jar of Greed, Magic Jammer. We'll get rid of, I think, one Ojama Trio and maybe one Jar of Greed. We'll then set the trio, set Zing Zang Hu, set Jar of Greed, set Magic Jammer, activate Area B, and we'll set the Magician of Faith instead of the Big Shield Gardna. Heavy Storm, we will Magic Jammer, getting rid of our Big Shield Gardna. He sets a monster and ends his turn. We draw a Solemn Judgment. Standby, main. We'll flip Magician of Faith. Get back Pot of Greed. We don't have the discard fodder right now for Graceful Charity. Get Upstart and Spatial Claps. We'll Upstart. Get another Zing Zang Hu. We'll Jar of Greed. Get Outstanding Dog Marin. I think we flip Ojama Trio. And we'll set Judgment. We have a Zing Zang Hu face down, so we don't need to set a second. And we'll end our turn. These have 1,000 defense, by the way, which is why obviously we're not going to attack over with Magician of Faith. He flips Magician of Faith. Gets Heavy Storm back. We'll have to Solemn it, obviously. Activate Heavy Storm. We'll Solemn. And unfortunately, he has the Tsukiyomi to flip his Magician of Faith face down again. We draw Skill Drain, though, which is an out to this loop. We'll swap this to defense, set Skill Drain, and I think we'll end our turn there. If he flips Magician of Faith, we'll flip the Skill Drain. He MSTs the Skill Drain, very unfortunately. Yeah, that's going to go through. I thought for a minute we'd have the lock. He gets Heavy Storm. He Heavy Storms. Everything goes to the graveyard. I accidentally misclicked, flipped, and declared. They all go to grave. I mean, it was kind of going our way for a little bit. I thought I had a chance. If he had summoned a monster and he didn't have the MST, then we would have been able to make sure that we won. He discards Tsukiyomi, getting rid of all of his tokens, taking 900 damage. Gets rid of the Faith, special summons a Chaos Sork, and we lose that game. Okay. Admittedly, we're going to go right back in and just hope that we can get the lock. Maybe bring in some Jougans over... I don't know. What do we want? Yeah. Over nothing else, because we didn't get a chance to decide. I mean, we did. I just chose not to. Okay. Opening hand. Zing Zang Hu, Magic Jammer, Spatial Collapse, Fake Trap, Solemn Judgment, Ojama Trio. We'll set a bunch. We'll take 1,000 from Sangan. He discards Thunder Dragon. We will Zing Zang Hu. Target those two back row. And I think we'll end our turn. We draw Pot of Greed. Fantastic draw. We'll Ojama Trio. It's going to turn off our Spatial Collapse for a little bit. But it allows us to Pot of Greed. He Regeki breaks Zing Zang Hu. But we draw 2. Get Upstart Goblin, Magician of Faith. We'll use Upstart. Get Big Shield Gardna. And I suppose we'll then set the Magician of Faith and end our turn. Keeping the Fake Trap to protect our collapse. Faith will get us back. Pot of Greed. He ends his turn. We draw another Solemn Judgment. We'll activate the Pot of Greed. Drawing Gravity Bind and Ojama Trio. We'll set the Big Shield Gardna. And I think we'll set Gravity Bind. He attacks with Sangan. It'll go to attack. But he takes 1,600. He ends his turn. We draw another Big Shield Gardener. We will change the Big Shield to defense, set Magic Jammer, end our turn. Turning off our Spatial Collapse, but ours is already turned off because he has more than 5 cards. Tributes for Thunder Dragon. That's fine. Okay, he got Sinister Serpent, but he's choosing not to. Okay, well, he does get Sinister Serpent. That's fine. Specials. We will Judgment the Chaos Sork summon. He Ring of Destructions. That's fine, we'll each take 100. We'll Gravity Bind. We'll Fake Trap his MST and chain Spatial Collapse. We get a Magic Jammer draw. We'll set Judgment in Big Shield Gardener. We can't put more cards on the field because of Spatial Collapse, but he can't attack with Thunder Dragon. We draw Graceful Charity. We can't use it. End our turn. We draw Jar of Greed. Again, can't put anything else on the board. Draw another Spatial Collapse, and now comes the long haul of just clicking End Phase. Draw Mirror Force. End turn. Discard Ojama Trio. Swaps his Thunder Dragon to defense. We draw Magic Jammer. End phase, we'll discard it. We already have one on the board. We get Area B, but unfortunately won't do us any good because we can't put anything on the board. We get Gravity Bind. And we're just waiting for our outstanding dog Marin now. Get Zing Zang Hu. Skill Drain. Are we gonna get a win? Fake Trap. I mean, depends on what his back row is. Torrential Tribute, we'll get rid of that because we want cards on the board. We need his monsters to stay on the field. Skill Drain. I mean, this is thrilling gameplay, but I'm just happy we might actually get a win. And that's why the Marin's in the deck, because we can't win. We won. He was going to go by deck out, and he saw that we weren't ever going to deck out. So now he just has to play incredibly safe to make sure that he always has an out to my lock. But the fact that we just got this off at all is pretty exciting to me. Opponent opens up with Thunder Dragon. I open up my Sparkling Mineral Water, as I always do. So he has 2 Thunder Dragons in hand with a T set. We'll Graceful Charity. Big Shield, Jar of Greed, Fake Trap. Okay. Get rid of Jar of Greed. think we'll get rid of Mirror Force. And we'll set Big Shield. And set Skill Drain, Judgment, Bind, and Spatial Collapse. We'll set Fake Trap as well. This does turn our Spatial Collapse off. He hits the Judgment. Happy that we managed to put the Fake Trap down as well, because that does protect everything. We will Skill Drain in response to his Dekoichi flip. I think we go ahead and Fake Trap, keeping our Skill Drain alive. He attacks Dekoichi into Big Shield Gardna. Big Shield won't go to attack position because Skill Drain's on the board. We draw Solemn Judgment. We'll set it. He gets Sinister Serpent back to his hand. Summons Sinister Serpent. Activates Torrential Tribute. I'm gonna Judgment. This might be really preemptive, but I need defense. We draw Jar of Greed. We'll set Jar of Greed, end our turn. He just swaps the Serpent to defense, ends his turn. We draw Area B. We'll use Jar of Greed just to see more cards. We draw another Jar of Greed. We'll set that, end our turn. He ends his. We draw Zing Zang Hu. Use Jar of Greed. Get Magic Jammer. I think we have to set the Magic Jammer. We draw Gravity Bind. We'll end our turn. He has Pot of Greed. Think. That's fine. He Upstart Goblins. Setting 2 back row, and we will Spatial Collapse. We draw Skill Drain. End our turn. Obviously one of these is going to be a Dust Tornado or a Geki Break, something that can get rid of one of these back rows. It's a Jar of Greed. Okay, also works. Wish we had the Zing Zang Hu. But I really am happy that we got the Magic Jammer face down. We will Magic Jammer, get rid of a Skill Drain. And maybe we should have kept it because he was clearly targeting the Skill Drain. Sets 1. Does he set 2? He sets a monster. End our turn, draw Ojama Trio. We'll set Zing Zang Hu. And he's thinking in end phase. We will target Okay, so he's chaining. I knew it was going to be. I had to go for it. I had to. So he gets rid of our Skill Drain. But we have gravity, but actually we can't use gravity bind because of Zing Zang Hu. No problem. We'll still be okay. Summons BLS. He can't put any more monsters on the board. Flips Gravekeeper's Spy. Yeah, I mean, this is game. GG's. Yeah, so if you didn't know, because I used Zing Zang Hu on his Regeki Break, I couldn't flip my Gravity Bind. Mystic Walk is interesting because it does allow him, assuming it was set face down, whatever, to get stuff off of the board. 21 minutes in. Do we go for another one? Is there a different deck we want to use? Screw it. We'll go for one more match with this deck. I'm happy we got a game win. That's all that matters, right? Opponent rated higher than me, but not incredibly high. Not like that last guy, but the fact that we got a game win off that last guy, I'm happy about. 1,400 ratings, nothing to scoff at. Opponent summons Sangan, sets 2 back row. We draw Skill Drain. Opening hand, we'll show them we're getting rid of a Big Shield Gardna, because it's the only 2 monsters we have in our hand. But we have Ojama Trio, Skill Drain, Fake Trap, Magic Chamber, Big Shield Gardna. We'll set the Big Shield Gardna, set Ojama Trio, set Skill Drain, and Fake Trap. He Jar of Greeds. A-okay. Unfortunately, I don't like seeing the Jar of Greed. It means that he has chainables. Thunder Dragon also might mean that he's got Regeki Breaks like the last guy. He gets 2 Thunder Dragons to his hand, so he's got the light, no dark engrave. And he's thinking. He sets a back row, 2 back row, 3 back row. Goodness gracious. We draw Spatial Collapse. And we'll set the Spatial Collapse and end our turn. If he uses some of these cards, in the back row, we might be able to hit him with the Ojama Trio Spatial Collapse. They have to be like Jar of Greeds, Regeki Breaks. We'll see. He just goes ahead and swaps Sangan to defense, and we'll flip Spatial Collapse in the end phase. We draw another Spatial Collapse, but we can't put anything on the board, but we have the Fake Trap. So these back rows need to be chainable, Jar of Greeds, Regeki Breaks, things like that. He can tribute over the Sangan for a monster, but we do have Ojama Trio, and there's nothing I can think of that he could summon. We draw another Skill Drain. We'll end our turn. Nothing with 1 tribute that's over 2,600. I mean, I believe the highest is what, like Summon Skull 25, but I mean, Zaborg, maybe. Don't think he'd be running Zaborg with Thunder Dragons. He tributes for Thunder Dragon. That's fine. Sangan will get a search. Probably Sinister Serpent. That is what he gets, so I imagine maybe some of these are Regeki breaks. He goes to battle. We'll get Big Shield Gardna. It'll go to attack. But we get to swap it to defense. And because he can't put more monsters on the board, it doesn't matter. Every single turn we can swap to defense. He Ring of Destruction's the Big Shield Gardna. Unfortunately, that will go through. We'll each take 100. He sets a back row and ends. We draw a Ground Collapse. We'll show him our hand. We got no monsters. So what do we want to do here? I think we just unfortunately have to end our turn and hope that we draw a level in area B, a gravity bind, something along those lines. He summons a Blade Knight. $1,600. 1,600. Come on. We have 4 out of 31. We get a Solemn. Not what we need. We'll end our turn. He can't put more cards on the board. We need Big Shield Gardna. So we have 6 out of 30 cards. We have a 1 in 5 chance. We'll Fake Trap, keeping our Spatial Collapse safe. He Pot of Greeds. Unfortunately, that's fine. Summons Dark Mimic. Interesting. Don't see this card very much anymore. I like it, though. I like Dark Mimics with a Mystic Tomato package, personally. Maybe I'll make a deck with them. Kind of just fell by the wayside because of Dekoichi. But if you're running Mystic Tomato, you can summon Dark Mimic level 1, and then in standby, summon Dark Mimic level 3. We'll take 1,000. Take 16. Take 16. Jar of Greed is not gonna do it. So we'll admit defeat. And unfortunately, do we want to bring anything in particular in? No, I think we can keep our deck. This is just a deck that you go in with what you got, and side decking's not pointless, but ultimately, you can only do so much. If you get the lock off, it works. If you don't get the lock off, you sit there and you struggle. But we've gotten 1 single game win, so I'm happy. That's all that matters to me, is single game wins. When you're playing decks like I do, you gotta just forget about matches. You just gotta hope that you can beat Chaos one time. And we did. We beat a guy who was incredibly high rated, clearly meaning that we're the better player, because we're playing a bad deck and he was playing a good deck. And you know, if a bad deck beats a good deck, that means that you're clearly the better player. Let alone the fact that, you know, we're just playing a complete lockdown deck. So, it's like I said, you get the lock, great. If you don't, awful. We Upstart Goblin, opening hand now is Level Limit Area B, Skill Drain, Judgment, Ojama Trio, Magic Jammer, Fake Trap. We will... I wish we had, like, Claps we need more of our collapses. Come on. We'll set Ojama Trio, set Fake Trap, set Skill Drain, activate Area B. It's all we can do. I mean, you need the Ojama Trios. He hits us for 1,000. Main phase 2. He just goes ahead, sets 2 back row. We draw Graceful Charity. I like that draw. We'll activate the Graceful. Getting Ojama, Zing Zang Hu, Magic Jammer. I think we will get rid of a Magic Jammer because we got 2. And get rid of an Ojama because we got 1. And we'll set Zing Zang Hu and end our turn. We'll activate Zing Zang Hu, see if he chains anything. He chains Dust Tornado, hitting Area B. We'll chain Ojama Trio. I wish we had Spatial Collapse, because then we could have a lock. It wouldn't be the best lock. We'd still need a monster to stop the Dark Mimic from attacking Torrential. Yeah, he realizes. Torrential just stays set. Unfortunately, no claps. We need Spatial Collapse desperately. Goes to battle, hits us for 1,000. We draw our own Torrential Tribute. We will, I think, do we set Torrential? We'll set the Magic Jammer. He summons Exiled. The summon is fine. And with Prio, I imagine he's going to take out a token. That is what he does. He takes 300 damage, not that that really matters to us, but he cleared 1 token from his board. Goes to battle. Hits us for 1,000. We draw Jar of Greed. I'll take that. Take all the Jar of Greeds I possibly can get. And need to see cards. We'll take 1,000 damage. Activate Jar of Greed. We draw the Big Shield Gardna, finally. And a Magician of Faith. We got Graceful Charity. So I think we'll set the Faith, end our turn. Are we going to get Nobleman Across outed? Hits us with a Delinquent Duo. I will Magic Jammer that, getting rid of our Torrential. We still have Fake Trap to protect from a Heavy Storm or something along those lines. Unfortunately, Nobleman does get rid of the Magician of Faith, and I think we only have the 1, right? Yeah, we only have 1. He goes to battle, hits us for 1,000. We draw another Big Shield Gardna. We'll set big shield, end our turn. Graceful Charity, draw. He draws 3. What will he discard? Zing Zang Hu is still targeting that torrential, so we can't use that. Excuse me, he discards a Spy and a DD Warrior Lady. He puts BLS into defense position. We will chain the skill drain to the effect of BLS, keeping our monster. He tried to use the Torrential Tribute, but that's not how that works. Zing Zang Hu is still active on the Torrential. So what we need now is a Mirror Force. You get another Zing Zang Hu. We'll set Big Shield, and I think we will set Judgment. We haven't seen our Spatial Collapse yet. But if he wants to attack, he can only attack once with the BLS. Halfway through our deck, have not seen one Spatial Collapse or Ground Collapse, as a matter of fact. I feel like we have not been very lucky getting our lock off, but, I mean, if you're playing a deck like this, you don't deserve to be lucky. He just ends his turn. We draw another skill drain. We'll end our turn. We draw another Big Shield Gardna. We'll end our turn. If he wants to play it safe, I'm more than happy with this. Discards a Serpent in end phase. We draw Outstanding Dog Marin. We draw another Judgment. Can't set it because we need to make sure that we have room in case we do draw a Mirror Force. Draw another Fake Trap. End our turn. He gets Thunder Dragons to his hand. End phase will likely discard them. Discards a Kaiku and a Chaos Sork. We draw Area B. I think the play is going to actually be activate Area B. Turns off our Spatial Collapses, but it keeps the BLS from attacking. And right now we need that. We draw Ground Collapse. We'll set a Big Shield Gardna. I do wonder, what's the effect of Skill Drain, Big Shield Gardna, and Nobleman of Crossout? We draw Magic Jammer. End phase. We'll discard all the cards that don't get us closer to protection. Like, no, like, we'll keep our magic jammer. He sets a trap card. We draw spatial collapse. End phase. We'll discard the Marin. It gets shuffled into the deck. He Jar of Greeds, fine by me. Take more cards, get closer to the deck out. Our win condition is deck out, so I'm fine the more cards you want to draw. He activates Rhoda. Still fine by me. Maybe he's going to get himself Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. Skill Drain and Area B are up, so Sasuke can't get rid of a Big Shield Gardna. No idea how this works with Drain. I think it would get flipped and then... Okay. Like, it can't negate because it gets flipped, but it's face down when the effect activates. End phase, we'll get rid of a Zing Zang Hu. Actually, probably should get rid of Skill Drain, but we'll keep Zing Zang for now. We have Judgment and Fake Trap. He sets a back row. We draw a Jar of Greed. End phase, we'll discard Skill Drain. I gotta get ready to go. I gotta be out of somewhere at 3 o'clock. It's 2:11 right now, so maybe I should not have played a second match. Maybe I should not have played this deck, but too late now. We are committed. He Dust Tornadoes, Skill Drain. We'll activate Fake Trap. He activates MST. We will pay half our life points to keep the Skill Drain active. And Fake Trap and Solemn to set again. We draw the Outstanding Dog Marin. We can't do Spatial Collapse because we have more cards on the field than 5. So we'll set Solemn. And do we do Magic Jammer? Or do we do Fake Trap? We'll do Fake Trap. Solemn can protect Area B. We get a Ground Collapse. We don't need to discard an end phase. We draw Spatial Collapse, end phase. We'll discard a Ground Collapse. He sets a back row and ends. We draw Ojama Trio. Discard that. He did have a Zaborg, interesting enough. End phase. Discard Ground Collapse. Hope you guys are enjoying this. This is peak Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay right here. Sets another back row. End phase, we draw the Mirror Force, but we will discard the Marin this time. He gets Sinister Serpent to his hand, uses a Regeki Break on Fake Trap, that's fine. Get Sinister Serpent back to his hand. Regeki breaks Solemn Judgment. So, here comes Heavy Storm. Yeah, that's gonna do it. GG's. Unfortunate. The Ring of Destruction goes for game. We drew another Judgment after that. Well, it's a deck. That's all I can say is it is a deck. But good? Absolutely not. Fun? Probably not that either. But we used it. Thank you all for watching. I'm the YuGiOh Scrub, and goodbye.